Hey YouTubers, this is EMDSD14R, and this is a special video on my Acela. Basically it's called Project Acela. Now if you guys are familiar with this train, this is the Bachmann Spectrum series Acela train set. These came out in the, I believe these came out in the early 2000s, around the same time that the Acela was being made, or was first being produced. And this is actually one of the first sets that were made, and I've had it ever since. If you guys seen pictures of the real Acela, you know that there are couplers behind the nose when it's being retracted. If you guys noticed on the Bachmann bodies and shells, there looks like there's an area for a coupler to sit, but really it doesn't sit anywhere, and that technically is a bit of a downer, because it's not exactly prototypical. A fellow YouTuber, Acela, I forget the numbers in his YouTube name. I'm very tired right now. I feel a little drowsy because I'm sleepy, but I'm making this video anyway. But Acela, I forget it'll be at the bottom of your screen, modified his Acela to actually have knuckle couplers on both ends of the train. Now the way he did his was one way you could do it, but I did mine differently, and you guys are going to be shocked because you guys are not going to be expecting this at all. Let me just pull this up because I need my hand to have full room. Now this actually took me about, I would say about maybe 30 minutes to do each power car, and it wasn't really that, it was difficult, but it wasn't that difficult. Okay, are you guys ready? Take a look. Ta-da! I actually put a Kadee scale coupler. This used to be a shelf coupler, but it's not anymore. I actually modified it to just be like a regular scale coupler, and the good thing about this is it enables me to couple diesel engines up to it. But look at here's another good thing. That's my coupler height checker, and if you look, the coupler height is exactly the same as on the coupler height checker. Now you're probably wondering, okay, how in the world did you get that to be the correct height? Well, if you look at the front, I actually had to do a lot of filing, and I had to widen I actually had to make a new slot at the bottom, but I decided to keep the original slot so that I could still put the nose cone on. But it's not just as simple as putting a coupler on. As you guys can see, I actually had to, sand and or remove a large chunk of the nose. I actually had to sand it. I used my Dremel tool, my Dremel disc, to do all the modifications to it, and that enables you to keep the original tabs on the nose cone without worrying about it. And it's more prototypically correct in the fact that you can put it right over the coupler and snap the nose on and not have to worry about it. Now you're probably wondering, was that the only modification? I mean, you saw the styrene under there, but no, that wasn't the only modification. And let me show you what I did. This is the power car, by the way. In conjunction with that, I added 2 screws. The coupler is screwed in at the front right there, and then this is the other screw that holds the front diffuser on, diffuser slash plow. You see that little hole there? That's where I first was going to drill, but it wasn't right, and luckily I just used a pilot drill hole for that. The final drill hole is where the screw is. Now what did I use as far as getting the couplers mounted is concerned? Let me show you what I used. And I've actually had this idea for years, but I just never really got around to it. Since I've been upgrading my old Athearn blue box coaches with Kadee coupler boxes and Kadee coupler boxes and Kadee long shank couplers that are body mounted. I had no need for the truck mounted Kadee couplers or coupler boxes. And if you look how thin they are, it actually enables you. Let me see if I can get this nose off again. It actually enables you to keep the original slot right here for your nose cone, and you still have your coupler right there. And there's a piece of styrene. I don't know that. I think that's like maybe 0.3 millimeter styrene, 0.3 or 0.5 millimeter styrene, or I mean not millimeter, but in thickness. I'm not really sure, but that's basically what I used. I have a whole bunch of these, and I just used one of them. I cut the extra piece off in the back there because I didn't need that. Screwed it on, and voila. So actually the power car nose sits better than actually the power car nose has been done better. But I also did the rear car as well, and let me show you what I did. If you look at the back car here, it sits pretty well. There's a little gap at the bottom, but that's okay. On some of the real Acelas, it's like that. It's actually a little bit more of a challenge to get the nose off of this car, but let me see if I can do this one-handed. No, I better not. I don't want to ruin it. Let me just put the camera down here. Let me get this done right, because I don't want to break the nose. Cut the tabs. So, okay. Now you're probably wondering, okay, why is that area white? That's just nothing more than just haze from the glue. I can take some rubbing alcohol and just rub that. That's just some mist from the Zap-A-Gap glue. I actually had to use it in here to strengthen the right tab over there. But if you can see how I actually coned out the nose to accommodate the coupler, actually just slides on like so. See, it's not easy doing it with this one. Not easy at all. This one's actually harder to do than the front one. Actually, I did the dummy car first because I knew it would be easier to do. I didn't know that the part that I was drilling into, though, when I put the whatchamacallit, the screw, it's actually a plastic frame where the screw goes through, in conjunction to going into the front diffuser / plow. And this will enable me to actually have this engine be towed. Now I am going to give you a demonstration of that right now, but if I wanted a couple more of these Acela sets together, I can do that. If Amtrak actually did order enough Acela sets, you would probably see 2 sets coupled together, but I don't know how many ordered, but they actually had to downsize their order. So yeah, or I could make it like in the early 2000s when the Acela was first being delivered. They would deliver them in freight trains, and that was really cool to see, so I can actually recreate that. So let me just show you guys what I mean. Let me just, yeah, this nose I did perfectly. Comes off easily, still retaining the original tabs. And that's the key thing I wanted to do. I wanted to do it. I can't even talk, guys. I am so tired. I wanted to have the prototypical couplers on it, but I also wanted to have the ability to put the nose cone back on correctly should the need arise, and leave the coupler on without having to take the whole bottom section off and then remove the coupler just to put the nose cone back on. No, I wanted it to be, in a sense, just like the prototype, where the nose retracts back up here but you can't really do that on this model because it's not designed like that. If Kadee actually made the HO version of this, I probably believe they would have had a opening nose like they do on their Shinkansen E5 bullet train that they have. They have like a little button you pull back and it opens up the nose and the coupler extends forward. I think if Kadee made this, they would have done that. But you know, this is a Bachmann model. I like it, highly detailed, but I wanted to have the prototypical coupler and still be able to put the nose cone on without any problems. So thank God he gave me that idea today. And it actually, when I was first doing it, it actually was occurring as I was going along. Like as I was putting stuff together, I was like, this could work, because for years I've always thought about using these on this engine. But me being lazy, not lazy, but not having other things to do, or not, I didn't get around to it. I just admit, I didn't get around to it. Oh boy. It's almost 12 a.m. So, this is what I'm gonna do. And I've already tested this out prior to showing you guys this, so I know this is gonna work. Let me just reverse the direction here. Now, you probably will never see an SD40T-2 towing an Acela train. I chose this engine because it's got the same gearing as the Acela, so they actually run together perfectly. So, let me see. And that didn't couple up. There we go. It wasn't the Acela, it was the other engine's coupler. I need to replace it with a whisker. There we go. So now, let me pull forward. So now the couplers are completely connected. And off we go. And I can do this on either end of the train, by the way. Now that you guys have seen that little demonstration, you're probably wondering if I have any other ideas for my other high-speed bullet trains. I'm probably not going to do this kind of conversion because, first of all, the way that they're designed, they have a one-piece they have a one-piece body shell, meaning they don't have the same design as the Bachmann Acela here. Let me just move this engine over here. I will be coupling it back to its coal train that I will be running. But let me back this up real quick. My future plans are I'm going to add MU cable detail in here, but it's going to be done in such a way that it doesn't interfere with the nose. So I know how to do it without interfering with the nose. And the way that the nose has been channeled out, I should say, the way it's been channeled out, it won't affect with any of the MU cable details because there's enough room in there for that. And I still have the rigidity of the nose. Like, the rigidity of the nose section has not been compromised. I'm probably going to go and add styrene backing to this as a precaution. I mean, it's not weak, but I don't want to take that chance. And even if that tab there was gone, it would still hold the nose cone on because the coupler would actually, the coupler I mean, if you look at this, let me switch hands. If you look at how the cover is going to sit under the tab, you're going to see this right here. See how the cover sits under the tab? That would actually hold the tab, that would actually hold it on in conjunction with being in the larger slot. But yeah, I just wanted to share this with you guys. I hope that everyone can actually do this. I mean, if you have another way of doing it, that's fine. Whatever, however which way you do it, whether you do it my way or the other YouTubers' way, is fine. I just personally wanted to look like the prototypical thing, you know, without having to worry about the nose being up here or not being able to use the nose. There was another idea that I had, but it would have required a lot more work. This, all you do is you take your little, by the way, you don't use a large file. I used one of my jeweler's files for that. When you do work like that, use your jeweler's file. Do not use a large hand file, because you will mess yourself up. And if you do have to use an X-Acto knife, I did have to use an X-Acto knife to widen that underside a little bit more. Be extremely careful, because you will break the tab or the slot. Came close to doing that, but I didn't, thank God. You know, I actually wanted to do this many years ago. Like maybe as soon as I first saw an Acela with the nose cone up, or whatever. When I saw it, I really wanted to do it, but as a modeler, I just didn't have the experience. And even in these recent years, I still didn't know how to tackle this properly until today. So I let my maturity level catch up, and I just got tired of it because it's been gnawing at me for months now. Oh yeah, it's been gnawing at me for months this year. I just got tired of it, and I just decided to do it. So yeah, sorry if I'm babbling too much. Just trying to keep myself awake. But you know, you guys be cool, and I hope you enjoyed the video. See y'all.